Hi guys, I'm kind of doing a late night video. Well, it's 8:50 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I wanted to talk about comparing people and things and comparing yourself to others. This idea came when I saw people comparing one band to another. The Cimarelli and the Gardner sisters, you probably don't know who they are. But it's just not cool. It can hurt people's feelings. It's not realistic. So many times people are comparing themselves to actresses or singers or other celebrities or famous figures, and it's just not realistic. I think in the case of the two bands, it could be very hurtful that on the Gardner sisters page they're saying, well, Cimarelli can't sing, or you guys are better than Cimarelli. What I did was I posted that I kind of have mixed feelings. The Gardner sisters, their guitar playing's better, but I love them both. See, and I know I'm comparing, but maybe you wanted my opinion. That's an opinion, but sometimes maybe it's just best to keep our opinions to ourselves, because it could hurt somebody. But I'm like a really outspoken person, and I tell them as I see them. You guys should know that by now, my fans. Yeah, I think the worst kind of comparison is comparing yourself to others and what you see in the teen magazines and People magazines and Vogue and stuff like that. More and more magazines are being realistic with reporting on stuff that really matters, like bullying or body image. 17's really good about that. That's the only one I've read so far. The People, they throw in realistic stuff too, not just who's dating who or who broke up or what have you. There's also comparison of people around you. Like, I want to be, like, people are saying, I want to be like Cindy Lou Peoples. Well, it's good to have role models, but I'm all for being yourself. Yeah, I think if you learn anything from me by my talks late at night, it is that I am like a firm believer into thine own self be true. Because, I mean, otherwise I think you're being a phony. I feel like I'm getting a little off topic. Passenger, the guy who does Let Her Go and I Hate, he makes some really good points in I Hate, at the end, where, he hates these magazines with anorexic girls. If you get the chance, you should download that song or listen to it on YouTube. I don't know if they play it on the radio. But it's a really good song. It's about being realistic. He's really blunt. He doesn't like updates on Facebook. But it's a really funny song in the end too. But that song makes some really good points. I think some good role models, and I know we're kind of getting into role models, but it's almost like comparing yourself. Really good role models are Megan and Liz Mace. If you should see Country Nation TV, you can find it on YouTube. It's like totally awesome. But I think they're realistic, and they're like everyday people, even though they're really famous and they got a song on the radio. They're kind of down to earth. They don't let their fame get to their head. I think somebody else that I look up to as a role model, but I've never compared myself to, is Demi Lovato. She's really powerful, and she's got a good head on her shoulders. And she's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm trying not to be funny, because I'm really serious about, like, not comparing to yourself and being yourself. I mean, I don't like phonies. These cookie cutter people, that they're like wannabes. And they're comparing themselves constantly. I think my worst fault, I have a caregiver or a really good friend that I look up to. And she comes and hangs out with me Saturday and Sunday. And I got all mad last weekend because I couldn't get a copy of Dolphin Tale, because we were going to go see the sequel this Sunday. And I was totally stressing out, like, oh my gosh, I want things to be perfect. I don't know if that's my schizophrenia talking or what, but I don't know if I was trying to impress somebody, or I don't know. I wanted things to be perfect, but then you gotta consider what the hell is perfect. I believe the words normal and perfect do not belong in the dictionary. But long story short, that whole thing turned out cool. My mom got it from Netflix. I changed my plan to getting DVDs by mail. So everything's good, but not everything's gonna turn out like you want to, and you shouldn't be running yourself ragged just to be like somebody else, or to please people, because you can't win them all. You'll run yourself ragged. And I learned a really big lesson for that, and it's like, I'm just gonna be myself around this person, and if something doesn't go right, then so be it. Yeah, so that's a good example. I mean, I kind of wanted to be like this person. She was kind of, I liked how she was able to hold down 2 jobs and then still go to school. And she was like in the Air Force, and I thought that was cool. And she was a nurse, and that's cool too. And so I think that's a good example of comparison. But you're gonna wear yourself ragged and work yourself into a frazzle, and with my schizophrenia, that's like really not a good idea. Yeah, for me or anybody who has schizophrenia or any anxiety disorder or anybody really, you don't have to have an anxiety issue or schizophrenia. Yeah, I'm reading a book on schizophrenia. It's like I'm reading it for this person I admire. I don't know why I'm going like this. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to swallow. I don't like seeing things about schizophrenia or, oh, I got another example of, comparing. I have this neighbor who is severely schizophrenic, like, much worse off than me. And, well, some people say I have schizoaffective disorder, some people say I have schizophrenia. I don't know. I wish they'd make up their damn mind. But, a little side note on my symptoms, I see things, but I don't, no, I hear things, but I don't see things unless I don't sleep well. And, so another example of comparison is I have this neighbor who has schizophrenia, and he used to be real bad. Like, he'd sit under my window and yell obscenities because he's seeing things and hearing things. And I know his brother from the hospital where I broke my ankle, and he went to Life Transitions. David did, that's my neighbor, and he came back a whole new man. He was like gone for 3 weeks or something, and he seems to manage his symptoms like really good, even though it's still hard to get through to him. Like, I'll say hi to him, and then sometimes you get something out of him, and sometimes you don't. And so I think often I compare myself to David, but again, I could wear myself ragged. So I think, to sum it up, because I don't want to bore you guys, comparing yourself is just a waste of time, a waste of energy, and you're going to work yourself up into a tizzy or wear yourself ragged. That's all I have to say about that. Toodaloo. And that's a wrap.